Why do you think at this point there's still such an incredible reluctance to blame anything on the vaccine? Because people will, with any other medication, people on any other medication, it seems like it wouldn't be so easy to dismiss. Like when people got strokes with Vioxx, people weren't saying, oh, come on, you just had a regular stroke. The Vioxx didn't have anything to do with it. But with this, you do see that narrative. Like, hey, he had a heart attack 7 days after he was vaccinated. Well, people have heart attacks. There's no consideration for a novel treatment that has been administered to hundreds of millions of people in this country. No consideration to maybe that had a factor. In fact, they actively try to ignore that as a possible factor. And I have talked to so many people that have had either similar situations to yours or worse, where they had an adverse effect from the vaccine. And these anecdotal stories of people and their doctors' reluctance to admit or to even consider that it had anything to do with that is quite shocking.
The indoctrination on vaccine safety, Joe, is so deep, historically and with this, that even educated people think they're being objective. I think what's made this worse is that many of these doctors and many people themselves, one, they've had it, they bought into the narrative, and we have to think empathetically and compassionately with them, in the sense that I think we have to have that conversation and that understanding that changing one's mind in general is actually, for many people, quite an emotionally traumatic experience. But really, if you think about it, and we are strong enough and mature enough to be able to, understand what's happened here and to try and move forward constructively. But for most people, the kind of discussion we're having now about all of these system failures and the corruption and people being harmed and, this vaccine that almost certainly, I think quite likely these drug companies knew already about the harms before they were rolled out. That's why they got immunity from getting sued if people got vaccine injured, because they knew. It's a lot to take in, Joe. It's much easier to bury your head in the sand and to ignore it, this willful blindness. It's an easier route to take than to confront these truths. But we have to confront the facts, because if we don't, it's only going to keep happening.
But there's also other people who are doing the work for the man. And that's where it gets weird to me when it comes to this. And this is something that I've never seen before, but I have seen with the vaccine, is that there are people that, because of their own personal choices or because of whatever positions they initially asserted, initially pro-vaccine or, tried to tell people to get it or tried to be influential, these people are so reluctant to change course. I'm not talking about medical health professionals. I'm talking about journalists. I'm talking about people in the public eye. I'm talking about influencers and celebrities that have initially stated that you should go do this. I'm doing this. You should do this. Those people are still carrying water for the pharmaceutical industries to cover up their own either incorrect assumptions and assertions or whatever reason they want to do it. They're doing the work for them. Like when you see if someone talks about having some sort of a vaccine adverse side effect, they're attacked. I've seen people get attacked. I've seen people talk about someone they know that got sick or even died, and they'll get attacked. It's very strange because it's become much more of a medical issue, and it turned into a tribal issue. And in this country, it's very separated in terms of ideological inclinations. You have your Republicans and you have your Democrats, your right-wing people and your left-wing people. The right-wing people are more reluctant to take it. They're more reluctant to believe. They were seeking alternative treatments. Some of them were ineffective. And then you had, and unfortunately, a lot of those people were unhealthy to begin with. And then you had the left-wing people who were all in. They were getting Pfizer tattoos. They were showing photos of them getting vaccinated. They were posting their little stickers, got vaccinated. They had their little hypodermic needle emoji in their little bio. It's wild shit because it became a tribal identity signifier. It was a signal that you were sending out to other people that you were on the right side. You've done the right thing.
Yes, I think there's an element for sure in this that those people who are indoctrinated believe that they have done a good thing for society. They believe they have done the right thing.
And I think they thought that when they did it initially. So that's why they're reluctant to relinquish that and to say they got duped.
Yeah. But, it takes, there's the school I went to, Manchester Grammar School, where, I think it shaped me. I'm very proud of the school I went to. Our motto, it was in Latin, sapere aude, dare to be wise. It takes courage to change one's mind and to admit that you may have been wrong. Yeah. So it's not an easy thing for people to do. It's the right thing to do. It's about living virtuously. As doctors, we're also taught if evidence changes, we need to change with the evidence. But not everybody feels comfortable doing that, Joe. And I think that there's some of it is probably fear of getting attacked. I mean, I know some celebrity figures that privately, I won't name them, who are completely, I agree with you, Aseem, keep going, we support you, etc. Thank you. And they send me all these, but they won't come out and speak out. And I was like, if even if half a dozen well-known celebrity figures, Joe, came out simultaneously and said, we are very concerned this vaccine is causing harm, please suspend it following an investigation, I think this issue would probably end overnight. It honestly doesn't take that many people of prominence to really speak out. And I don't know if you've watched the movie She Said, which is around what happened with Harvey Weinstein.
No.
So, and this is corroborated, obviously movies can sometimes be fictional, but this is very accurate. And one of the things that comes out in that film is that all these women who had suffered at the hands of Harvey Weinstein, when the journalists went to them, I think it was New York Times originally that broke the story, they were all very, very scared of speaking out on their own, like they would get attacked and, he was so powerful and all of that influence. But what the journalists did is that they got several of these women and they basically were honest with them saying, listen, so-and-so is going to say it as well. You're not just going to be alone. And the line was, when they jump, they all jump together. Right? So we haven't got, I think we're getting there. We have to just keep speaking the truth and sort of letting go of the outcome because it's the right thing to do. But if there are people out there who have a voice, who have a platform, and I know some of them, by the way, I'm talking about some really big name celebrities who message me, like very, very famous people who say, thank you, keep going. And I've said to them, will you speak out? And they're scared to speak out.
I've had the exact same experience. Yeah. I've had it privately. I've had it through messages. I've had it through emails and text.